I spent the past 2 weeks daily driving this phone, and I have some interesting takes that you probably have not heard before. This is the Red Magic 10 Pro, a gaming smartphone with the most powerful chip in the world. Besides the powerful Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, it boasts a number of impressive features, like being one of the brightest phones you can buy or having one of the largest batteries while still maintaining a slim design. That makes me wonder, why isn't it selling like it should, especially with it being cheaper than even the previous generation chips from large companies? Before we start, just a little bit of background. This review is from the perspective of a non-gamer and is more focused on using the phone as a daily driver, doing everyday tasks. Most of the comparisons will be done based on my user experience with the Samsung S24 Ultra. We'll cover the build quality, specs, then features, things I like, and things I didn't like. Out of the box, you get a bunch of paperwork, a USB-C to USB-C cable, a 60-watt power brick, a plastic frosty case, and the phone itself. Good start so far. You get everything you need out of the box, including a screen protector. However, I would highly recommend getting a new case. Although it was nice of Red Magic to include one, it will not protect against heavy drops. Here's the specs if you want to read through them. I'm not going to waste your time reading them, but they basically maxed out every possible spec you can think of. I'm absolutely astonished with how beautiful this phone is. The hardware is world class. From the first moment you hold it, you can't help but admire how good looking this phone is. From the transparent back, the dual speakers that ditches the old earpiece speaker combo and uses a proper dual speakers, which sounds phenomenal by the way, to the screen, which not only utilizes one-of-a-kind under-display camera, but also manages to do it with the highest screen-to-body ratio in the world at an impressive 95.3%. And despite having a huge battery, it by no means feels heavy or puts a strain on your wrist if you're holding it for long periods of time. No camera bumps, completely flat on the back. 10 out of 10 on the build quality. The 6.85-inch screen rivals the best and beats them where it counts. Despite being slightly lower in resolution than the Samsung S24, it's ahead in terms of brightness and refresh rate. Easily one of the best screens out there. The minimum refresh rate is 60 Hz, which does affect the battery life, but the phone is still leaps ahead of competition. It's worth noting that despite the large dual-cell battery, the phone is still the same thickness as the Samsung. This makes the phone a media consumption machine. Even under direct sunlight, the phone performs exceptionally well. The camera is a letdown, but it's only a letdown if your expectations are to have a Samsung or iPhone-like quality camera in your pocket. If your intention is to document memorable moments and take the occasional photo on a short trip, at work, or with family, the phone will do just fine. The camera app requires some tweaking before you can use it reliably. Red Magic likes to slap these things here, which nobody uses, and it also has this beauty mode enabled by default. The battery is as solid as it sounds. I wasn't sure how it would behave with a powerful chip that replaced efficiency cores with power cores, but the Snapdragon continues to impress. Even with the added power cores, it is still very efficient. Coupled with the fast charging, nothing comes close to it. There's no wireless charging, probably a design choice to keep a clean look with the transparent back. Red Magic 10 Pro uses an Android version called Red Magic OS 10, based on Android 15. The software is okay with some bloatware. I have experienced apps crashing for no reason while in the middle of something, but that usually happens when using a lot of phones for the first time. It does feel a bit rushed with options missing that you would normally find on other budget phones. As for the updates, Red Magic promises 1 year of software updates and 3 years of security patches. The performance is world class. The phone is buttery smooth, whether it's gaming or just everyday use. the phone barely breaks a sweat. I couldn't find any app or game that I'm familiar with that can truly test this phone. The only way I can stress test it is by using benchmark apps. And it didn't disappoint. On every single test, it ended up on top or a close contender. I've also noticed that it does a far better job with running apps in the background. You almost never get apps to refresh or lose progress, and they always remain active in the background. GameSpace. GameSpace is the name of the software used to manage all the games on this phone. Just flick the red switch and it will open up. You'll notice that all the games you install on your phone from the Play Store will end up on the GameSpace homepage. Besides giving you the ability to record and turn on the fan, it also gives you a nice overlay for your stats, like FPS and battery level. The software is also what allows you to assign the shoulder buttons. Just swipe twice from the top right, click on the controller symbol, and then move the L and R symbols where you want them on the screen. It also supports external monitors, and I was able to connect to a 4K monitor. Use a USB-C to HDMI cable or adapter, enter the GameSpace, and you're good to go. I wasn't a fan of GameSpace in the beginning, as I thought it's an extra step to play games. But the more I use it, the more I appreciate all the nice quirks and features that are well thought out. And the shoulder buttons are really good, very responsive, and with the help of the phone case, it becomes a lot more easier to locate. I'm an old school gamer, and I'm not a fan of the new generation of games that requires you to touch the screen to play. The shoulder buttons makes it easier to reassign those display buttons so you don't have to block the display with your fingers. Now let's talk about the things I really like, and in no particular order. Fast charging. Although it never actually reaches its peak charging potential, which is normal, the average charging speed is about 60 watt, which is crazy fast. You can easily get up to 15 to 20% of battery in about 10 minutes, which can last you a day if used conservatively. Bypass charging. This allows you to direct the power to the phone without charging the battery. It's immensely helpful at preserving battery health. I'm usually careful not to plug my phone overnight, and this means I no longer have to worry about destroying the battery health. The 2000 nits peak brightness helps a lot. I spend a considerable amount of my day outdoors with sunglasses on, and it's absolutely fantastic to have the phone as bright as it is. The physical switch button. It's meant to be used to switch to gaming mode, but it can also be repurposed to serve other functions, like turning the flashlight on or as an alert slider. Now let's discuss the things I did not really enjoy. You might have heard these points before, but I can assure you, you haven't heard them all. The camera. The camera is mediocre at best. Despite the big numbers, pixels-wise, it falls short. It will do just fine documenting your precious moments, but for someone who developed an eye for image quality, editing videos, I'm not impressed. The power button is small, and more often than not, I find myself clicking the volume down button. A minor inconvenience, but it manages to get on my nerves from time to time. A quick fix would be to get a case with large buttons. Minimal bloatware, which is good, but the phone is also missing some apps and features, like a video player or charging time on the lock screen. You can download most of these missing apps from the Play Store, but it would have been nice to have a native video player and a more polished software. Hopefully, this will be fixed with a software update. The refresh rate. The refresh rate rarely gets up to 144 Hz, which is not the phone's fault, as most apps don't require this much speed, but unlike Samsung, which goes all the way to 24 Hz, the minimum refresh rate on the Red Magic 10 is 60, even if the app can run at lower refresh rate. This is more of a nitpick, and although it's a drain on the battery, the overall battery performance is still phenomenal. The fingerprint scanner is not ultrasonic, and it uses the older technology, which is the optical scanner instead. I have no issues with it, and it's safe and secure, but it's a tad slower than the Samsung. I guess they had to cut corners somewhere. No IP rating. It's one of those things that caught up quickly and is now widespread. Although I didn't think it's a big deal at first, I kind of miss it. It gives you a peace of mind when you're near wet places. In the end, I've got some mixed up opinions. For about $900, it's not easy to recommend, but I personally like it. I think it's a great phone. I love the design and I appreciate how powerful it is. The pros outweighs the cons in my use case, and this has been the fastest phone I have ever used. If you can ignore the software support, the lack of IP rating, and the average camera in exchange for the best battery, performance, and screen, this phone will serve you well. It's definitely a head turner and a conversation starter. It's a little bit stealthy in the black color and it shows best in the silver color. You might want to wait for a month or two as I predict the price will drop about $100, just like we have seen on the Red Magic 9. That's because it still has similar complaints from the previous generations. And also because Samsung and Google release cycles is approaching very fast. And if gaming is your thing, Asus might be a better option with the same chip and a slightly better software support. I hope I was able to answer most of your questions. If you do have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I read all the comments on the channel and I will even reach out to the manufacturer to get answers if needed. With that said, you will find the links to buy in the description. Using them will support the channel, but please don't buy things you don't need unless you can afford it. Not good for business, but good for my conscience. If you like this video, you'll also like my voiceover playlist. That's all for today. I'll catch you in the next one.